The Georgia Bulldogs are your 2022 SEC champions. Well, there we go. That's part, 14 of the undefeated regular season model of ours? Well, full season. Anyways, there were some parts that look good about this game. There's some parts that look not particularly good, but let's start with the good. How about it? Stetson Bennett. How about it? For 2 weeks, people have been talking about Stetson Bennett this, Stetson Bennett that. He had 2 bad games against Kentucky and Georgia Tech, and people were writing him off. This game comes around. He could have threw for close to 400 yards if Kirby would have let him. He threw for about 290 yards and 4 touchdowns. Should have been more, but what can you do? They're trying to keep people healthy. Speaking of that, Ladd McConkey exited this game late in the first half with a knee injury. I just got a notification that said it's tendonitis. So, hope he's okay. And praying up for a speedy recovery for him. Other than that, the run game did all right. Nothing spectacular. I don't know. We just have not had that powerful running back like we did last year with Zeus that we can use on short yardage. Kendall Milton had a couple of good runs today. Dejon Edwards did too, and so did Kenny McIntosh. But it was mainly an air raid type of day. Darnell Washington finally got a red zone touchdown over 15 yards. Brock Bowers got into the action. So did Dylan Bell. So, passing game would look good. Offensive line looked good. Warren McClendon went out of the game, too, with an injury. Let's hope he gets better, too. So, that's it for the offense. Defensively, we started out slow again this week, same as we did last week, just giving up a bunch of yardage. LSU had a good plan for how they were going to play us. Since Jaden Daniels was not really good to run, they just were doing dinking and dunking passes, and then eventually they'd try to lull us to sleep and then throw a deep ball. When Jaden Daniels was in there, it wasn't really working as well as it needed to for him. But when Garrett Nussmeier got in, the freshman, he was just lighting us up, which I get it. It's hard to prepare for a quarterback that's a different style than we've been preparing for all week. But, oh well. We won the game. That's all that matters at this point. We got a couple of sacks. Chaz Chambliss, Jalen Carter got that sack. That was him just pretty much picking up Jaden Daniels and saying, "Hey, buddy, I ain't gonna hit you too hard. I'm just gonna get you up in the air so you can't run nowhere." And we did well on defense. We won the turnover margin. They had 3, I believe, and we only had 1, which that one was egregiously stupid. It was a handoff. Stetson Bennett tried to get, I guess he was trying to take it away from Kendall Milton on, a run-pass option, and they fumbled. Kendall Milton looked back at it, turned back around, or he looked back at it, saw it, turned back around to keep running, turned back around realizing what was happening, and then Stetson trying to slow the guys down from getting him, chop blocks the defender, but it didn't matter. LSU got the football, and this was at the start of the third quarter. But other than that, defense played all right. We were playing against probably the most talented receiver group we had played against all year. Tennessee is close second. But when you're playing against like Jeray Jenkins, Keyshawn Boutte, Brian Thomas, Jack Besh, Mason Taylor, people like that, those are some studs on LSU. Well, I ain't even told y'all the final score. I'm sure y'all know, but 50-30. Garrett Nussmeier came in and started lighting the defense up. But we did get an interception off of him and that fumble at the end of the game. So, now that's over. What do I think is going to happen with the playoff? Yesterday and today have been pretty much chaotic when it comes to the playoff and what's going to happen. Because before the week started, we said if all the teams they're favored to win, playoff's going to be easy. It's going to be Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and USC. Well, USC got throttled last night against Utah, and then today TCU lost their first game of the year to Kansas State by 3, which I believe shouldn't have happened anyways because I think the running back was in on that third down run, but hey, it's over now. Can't do much about it. So who goes, if Michigan wins tonight, which they are, believe, still leading Purdue, if they win tonight, even if they lose, if they win tonight, who's 3-4? Well, I think 3 Ohio State has locked in. They have one loss. It's a blowout loss, but it's still just one loss to Michigan. And besides that loss, they've blown out almost every other team they've played, and they have that top team winning is Penn State. Who goes in the 4th spot? I got 2 candidates for that. First one, I got TCU with the one loss. That was 3 points to Kansas State in their conference championship game. That's the key. They played in the conference championship game. They have 2 ranked wins at this time, and that's Kansas State, who will move up and probably close to 6 or 7, maybe, and Texas, who's at 20 at this point. And they've also beaten a lot of teams they've needed to. They have had some games where they've had to come from behind and win. I'm thinking of Baylor, Kansas State the first time. I think it was Oklahoma State as well. Kansas, which they had control of that. But besides that, they've really been convincing in their wins. And the second candidate is Alabama. 10-2 Alabama to be exact. They have the same amount of ranked wins, 2. However, both of theirs are from 20 to 25, I believe. It's 20 Texas and 24 Mississippi State, something like that. They've struggled in 5 of their games this year, including Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Tennessee, and LSU. Their best wins are against Ole Miss and Mississippi State, 2 teams that really, Ole Miss was a good win. Mississippi State is a whatever win. So, either way, I don't care who we play. Kirby's going to get us ready for it. I honestly just want to see a new team in the playoff besides Alabama. I mean, think if it was, let's say, Texas Tech with the record. No, let's go an SEC team to make this sort of matter. Let's say Ole Miss has this resume. They have 2 losses, both by less than 3 points. And they have 5 games to where it came down to the last play of the game for them to either win or to lose. So tell me who you would pick. That 10-2 team or 12-1 TCU team that lost their conference championship. Me personally, I think the committee is gonna come down to Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and TCU, with Alabama being number 5. That's just what I think is going to happen. I don't care either way. TCU gets in or Alabama gets in. I just think that this ain't the first time this has happened to TCU. It happened in 2014. So I think the committee should give TCU a shot. Alabama's been there every year but 2019. So I think it'd be good to see a new team in the playoff. The best teams are between those 5 teams. I think TCU has looked a little bit better than Alabama. I get the brand, I get everything, but if there was a different logo up there, I think TCU would get the nod. So, anyways, I'll get off my tangent, and we'll go from there. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and see y'all New Year's Eve. Go Dogs.